Have you ever opened your mouth to speak, but your voice felt smaller than your thoughts? You had something worth saying, but the words came out shaky, rushed, or uncertain. This is not because you lack vocabulary or grammar. It's because most people never learn how to feel their voice before they use it. Welcome to the Speakova framework, where your sound becomes your story and your clarity builds your confidence. Today, we explore 10 habits to speak clearly and confidently, habits that turn nervous energy into natural rhythm, silence into strength, and mistakes into mastery. This is not about perfect English. It's about progress over perfection. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through calm, and let's unlock the voice inside you. Habit 1, pause with purpose. When you pause, you give your ideas space to breathe. Most people fear pauses, thinking silence means weakness, but in reality, it's where confidence lives. A small, intentional pause turns scattered speech into structured thought. The psychology of silence. Silence in speech is often misinterpreted by the speaker as a failure or a sign of not knowing the material. However, for the listener, a well-placed pause signifies authority. The speaker is in control of the information flow. Wait. The information immediately preceding the pause is important. Processing time. It allows the listener to absorb complex ideas. A poorly timed or unconscious pause, often filled with or like, shows mental searching. An intentional pause shows mental selection. Practical application, the 2-second rule. Picture this. You're telling a story at work and you stop for just 2 seconds before your punchline. In that silence, your listener leans in. A pause is not a break in your message, it builds the message. You start sounding thoughtful, not rushed. To practice this habit effectively, monitor your rate of speech against your inhalation. Breathing cycle integration. Before the next phrase, gently pause, don't force words. Your voice gains gravity when your mind and breath meet in stillness. This intentional break should ideally be timed with a slight engagement of your diaphragm. Consider the effect of pauses on sentence structure, rushed speech. I went to the store because I needed milk, eggs, and bread. Lack of definition. Pausing for structure. I went to the store because I needed milk, eggs, and bread. Clarity and emphasis. Measuring pauses. While precise measurement is difficult in casual speech, the goal is to move from reactionary pauses because you forgot what to say, to strategic pauses placed to enhance impact. A strategic pause can range from a fraction of a second, a comma pause, to several seconds, a full thought transition pause. The key is intent. If you intend for the listener to wait, they will wait eagerly. Habit 2. Speak slower to sound clearer. Breathing shapes your voice more than vocabulary ever could. Shallow mouth breathing makes you sound tense. Nose breathing, however, calms your nerves, slows your rhythm, and keeps your tone warm and controlled. The physiology of breath and tone. When we speak rapidly, we often rely on shallow, chest-based mouth breaths. This activates the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, leading to a higher pitch, faster delivery, and a thin, weak vocal quality. Nose breathing facilitates diaphragmatic, belly, breathing, which engages the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. Benefits of diaphragmatic nose breathing. Steady airflow provides a consistent column of air to power the vocal cords, eliminating fluctuations in volume and pitch. Nerve regulation slows the heart rate, physically calming the speaker before articulation begins. Vocal richness allows the voice to resonate lower in the chest cavity, adding depth and warmth. Imagine speaking after running. Your breath is jagged, your voice thin. That's what rushed talking feels like. Nose breathing regulates airflow so your sentences stay steady. It's the secret of singers, actors, and confident presenters. Practice. The inhale check. Practice it anytime. Between sentences, close your lips, inhale softly through your nose, and feel the air rise into your diaphragm. Calm breath equals calm voice. Exercise. Say the following sentence 10 times. For the first 5, breathe in only through your mouth. For the next 5, only through your nose. The core component of this strategy requires consistent, controlled energy input. Note the difference in how long you can comfortably sustain the sentence and the perceived authority in your voice. Habit 3. Finish your thoughts. Clarity lives in slowness. When you slow down, your words connect emotionally and physically. Most learners rush because they want to sound fluent, but fast doesn't mean fluent. Connection always beats speed. The myth of speed fluency. Many non-native speakers equate rapid speech with proficiency. In reality, when you try to speed up your articulation beyond your brain's processing and muscle memory capacity, you invite errors, poor word choice, and loss of breath support, all hallmarks of insecurity. Think of your speech like music. If the rhythm is too fast, meaning disappears. But when you slow the tempo just a bit, your ideas flow with purpose. People actually understand you, and understanding builds confidence. Internalizing tempo control. Slowing down allows your articulators, tongue, lips, jaw, time to achieve precise shaping for each phoneme, especially those sounds that are difficult in your native language. The target rate calculation. A comfortable, clear speaking rate for formal presentation is typically between 120 to 150 words per minute, WPM. Many anxious speakers push past 180 WPM. To internalize this, record yourself speaking normally, then again, 15% slower. You'll hear more power, more air, and more feeling. Slow speech isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Drill. Read the following paragraph at a pace you feel is slightly too slow. Aim for 130 WPM. Effective communication requires the deliberate calibration of pace and pitch. When we prioritize clarity over sheer volume of words, the listener can fully engage with the depth of our perspective, leading to stronger rapport and mutual understanding. Habit 4. Breathe through your nose. A strong voice isn't a loud voice, it's a controlled one. Many learners subconsciously lower their volume when doubtful or shout when nervous. True confidence lies in adjusting, not forcing. Dynamic range and intentionality. Volume control or dynamics is crucial for vocal engagement. A monotone, unchanging volume bores the listener. A confident speaker varies volume to highlight key points. Volume correlates to emotion. Soft _ quiet. Intimacy, seriousness, emphasis on proximity. Requires excellent breath control to avoid whispering. Medium _ conversational. Normal interaction, comfort, openness. Loud _ projected. Excitement, commanding attention, asserting authority. Picture saying good morning in a cafe. Too soft sounds shy, too loud sounds aggressive. The perfect tone sounds balanced, gentle yet sure. When you master volume, your emotion feels intentional. Practice. The volume scale. To practice, pick a scale low, middle, high. Read the same short line at each level. Notice how each one changes the feeling. Volume is your emotional steering wheel. Line for practice. This is the critical path forward. Low volume. Intimate _ secretive whisper or speak barely audible across a table. Focus on breath stability, not breathiness. Medium volume. Assertive _ normal speak as if addressing one person 1 meter away. High volume. Projected _ excited speak as if addressing a small group across a room. Analyze which volume setting best conveys genuine conviction without sounding strained. Habit 5. Control your volume. Half-finished sentences create half-built confidence. Many people stop mid-thought because they fear grammar errors or judgment. But finishing your sentence delivers emotional clarity, even if grammar isn't perfect. The power of completion. In communication, ambiguity breeds anxiety in the listener. When a speaker leaves a sentence hanging, the listener's brain immediately tries to complete it, diverting attention from the next point. Completing the idea signals mental resolution. Imagine telling a story. Yesterday I wanted to, then fading out. The listener stays lost. But if you push gently through, I wanted to visit my friend because it's been weeks, your listener connects. Finished ideas show courage. Training mental stamina. This habit trains mental stamina. It forces you to carry the logical thread from subject to predicate, regardless of internal self-criticism. Drill. Sentence expansion. Start a sentence with a common trailing structure and force yourself to use at least 3 more words before pausing. If we look closely at the data, expand to, we will notice an unprecedented spike in user engagement rates. I think the main problem is expand to that we haven't properly allocated resources to the crucial onboarding phase. When I was young, my favorite thing was expand to spend hours reading science fiction novels under the covers with a flashlight. Train this habit by completing one full idea before moving on. Each time you finish a thought, your confidence leaves an audible mark. Habit 6. Enunciate each word. Clear speech isn't fancy words, it's clean delivery. Enunciation means you let every ending sound touch the air. It's not about perfection. It's about being understood easily. Focusing on consonants, clarity often breaks down not on vowels, but on the final consonants, the T in don't, the D in and, the S in always. These are the grammatical and rhythmic markers that glue words together. When they are swallowed, the flow becomes slurry. Think of your voice as crisp water. When sounds blur, the water gets muddy. But when you pronounce the small endings like T, D, and S, your English suddenly shines. People start trusting your message more. Co-articulation versus dropping sounds. Native speakers naturally employ co-articulation, sounds blending, such as turning want to into wanna. This blending happens after clear articulation of the base words. If you skip the clear articulation phase, you are just mumbling quickly. Try saying want to slowly and clearly until it becomes wanna naturally. That's how native rhythm forms. Clarity first, then flow. Tongue twister drill. Focusing on endings, practice these slowly, exaggerating the final sounds. He kept it tight. Focus on final T. The last word was the best. Focus on final SD, and SD. This had to end. Focus on final D. Habit 7. Structure your sentences. Good speakers think in shapes, not sentences. Before words leave your mouth, your brain builds a small map. Start, middle, end. That invisible structure makes speech feel confident and organized. Mental outlining and cognitive load. When you jump into talking without this map, ideas collide and clarity disappears. This increases your cognitive load. You are simultaneously trying to formulate the next sentence while delivering the current one. This leads to hesitation. Structure reduces cognitive load by setting predictable pathways. The rule of 3. Tricolon humans process information best in threes. Situation. What happened? Feeling. How did you react? Result. What was the outcome or learning? When you mentally outline even 2 seconds in advance, what's my point? You sound instantly smarter. Example application. Instead of rambling about a project issue, speech, we encountered a significant server error problem. This resulted in a 4-hour downtime and client frustration impact. Therefore, we are now prioritizing system redundancy testing this week. Solution. Practice by summarizing your thoughts into 3-part mini stories: situation, feeling, result. You'll not only sound structured, you'll think structured. Habit 8. Use analogies and images. Bridging abstract and concrete. For instance, saying learning English is like growing a plant activates emotion, not logic. The mind relaxes, ears open. You express more than words, you share meaning. That's the magic of analogy. Developing your analogy library. Developing this skill involves making connections between disparate concepts. If you are explaining patience, compare it to watching concrete set or waiting for a ship to dock. If you are explaining complexity, compare it to a densely woven tapestry or a spaghetti junction interchange. To grow this habit, collect comparisons in daily life. Describe sounds, emotions, and movements. Soon your speech becomes a story, not a sentence. Habit 9. Warm your tone. Tone is body language and sound. A warm tone comes from relaxation, breath, and intention. It turns even small talk into connection. Listeners remember how you made them feel, not just what you said. Pitch and resonance for warmth. A warm tone usually has a slightly lower, steady pitch range and good resonance, using the chest and head cavities, not just the throat. A cold tone often involves a higher pitch, tension in the throat, and rapid fluctuations. Cold tone repels, warmth attracts. To warm your tone, imagine speaking to someone you deeply care about. Your body softens, your pitch lowers slightly, and your words land with kindness. This isn't about being overly friendly. It's about conveying safety and sincerity. When you feel safe, your voice relaxes and naturally adopts a warmer timbre. Habit 10. Build a mindset of confidence. The clearest voice starts in the quietest place, your mind. If you believe every word must be perfect, anxiety blocks your expression. But if you focus on connection, not perfection, fluency unfolds naturally. Shifting the goal from performance to communication. The single greatest barrier to clear, confident speech is the perfectionist trap. This trap demands flawless grammar, vocabulary, and delivery, turning speech into a high-stakes performance. Mindset shift. Old goal. Deliver a perfect monologue. New goal. Exchange meaning effectively with another human. Think of confidence like a muscle. You build it through repetition, not pressure. Each time you speak, you train courage. Each time you smile at a mistake, you grow resilience. Self-compassion as a tool. If you make an error, acknowledge it internally without judgment and move on immediately. The pause that follows an error, if you allow it, is often more jarring than the error itself. Mantra: I am communicating, not performing. Clarity begins with self-compassion. You're not performing, you're communicating. And communication gets better with love, not fear. You know, every time you show up here, you're doing something most people never do. You're training your voice, your confidence, your mindset. And that's beautiful, because clarity isn't born overnight. It grows inside your pauses, your breaths, your smiles. If today's session made you feel even 1% more sure about your voice, celebrate that that's progress. That's what Speakova is all about, progress over perfection. So before you leave, do something small that keeps us connected. Hit like. It helps the message reach someone who might need it today. Subscribe because you've already started the journey and I don't want you to stop halfway. And yeah, ring the bell, not for the notifications, but as a symbol. It's the sound of your next level calling. Every word you say carries energy. Every pause holds power. Feel it, respect it, and let your real voice shine. You're not performing. You're communicating. You're not trying to sound perfect. You're trying to sound you. Keep practicing with me. Keep growing with Speakova, and as always, learn. Speak. Grow. See you next time. Goodbye.